Hello, good evening. Welcome to my channel. And I'm talking about the cost of living. If you watch this video, watch the previous one as well because they are connected. Talk about capitalism. We are going through different types of capitalism. And the reason I'm talking about capitalism because I'm talking about the cost of living. The reason I'm talking about the cost of living is because I believe if you talk about the cost of living, you are going to be advantaged in solving the problems. And if you watch this video, you're going to learn different things. You're going to know what caused the cost of living. I said it is capitalism. So I'm now looking at, and I also said if you want to solve a problem, if you have a problem, be an expert on such a problem. Be an expert on the cost of living. Be an expert on capitalism because capitalism caused the cost of living. So if you want to survive well in life, if you want to succeed, be an expert on your problem. Problem is an opportunity to succeed. I mean, if you don't face problem, you're not going to succeed in your life. Every successful person has gone through a lot of hardship. Embrace adversity. Embrace actually the cost of living. Embrace um, hardship. If you're poor, embrace poverty and tell yourself being poor is an opportunity to succeed. I mean, your chance to be rich. A lot of people don't believe they are poor, especially if they live in a rich country like Britain. It's so hard to know you are poor because you have a lot of things, you have a lot of stuff. Um, but if the government is now asking you to leave your home and go to live in the library, public library, if the government is now asking you to leave your home to go and live in town hall or even schools, I mean empty schools, I don't know what people are going to do in school. Maybe they're going to sleep there overnight. I don't know. Big businesses, small businesses, medium businesses are now complaining about the cost of energy. They cannot really operate effectively because they are facing severe cost of living problem. Businesses. That means schools may even be struggling to keep the places warm. Town hall library will be struggling to keep their spaces warm because they are funded by the government and they are limited on the budget. So if you go to any of these places, any of these public places, and you find that it is warm, if it makes you happy, if it makes you sad, if you are allowed to go there, because I don't know the procedure, so I talk about it. I don't know. I just know that is in writing on the websites. If you look at the government website, you will find it. The government is sending people to public spaces to stay warm. I don't really think that is right, but leave a comment below and let me know. So we're going to talk about state capitalism. It's a continuation from the other video. So if you watch this video, watch it in terms of the other video. State capitalism is a capitalist market economy dominated by the state-owned enterprises, where the state enterprises are organized as commercial profit-seeking businesses. So we talk about commerce. We talk about profit. See, we talk about organization. Their scheme, their enterprising scheme is actually to make profit, not just make profit, but maximize it. The designation has been used broadly through the 20th century to designate a number of to designate a number of different economic forms ranging from state ownership in market economies to the command economies of the former Eastern Bloc. We talk about the Eastern Bloc a lot in the previous um, video, because state interventionism is associated with socialism. Socialism is associated with the Eastern Bloc. That's why we talk about the former Eastern Bloc. The former means it is in the past now. According to Masu, Aldo Musashio, professor at Harvard Business School, state capitalism is a system in which governments, whether democratic or autocratic, exercise a wide range, a widespread influence on the economy, either through direct ownership or various subsidies. Now, when you talk of direct ownership, you talk about the government taking over the running of the economy, which is actually something common. Almost everybody knows about it. I'm just going through to connect them together to kind of like try to understand if when they talk about state capitalism, it's important to know that we are talking about state capitalism. When the government intervene in the market, sometimes taking over ownership and also giving subsidies. And subsidies, if the government gives, would have been, if the government was giving subsidies to the energy company, for example, there wouldn't be the cost of living problem in the UK, because that will solve the problem of food price, food crisis and energy crisis. That's the purpose of state intervention. State intervening will help control the price of products like energy and food. The price of goods and services like housing, rent, if you want to buy maybe whatever you want to buy, which is an essential, the government can intervene. It can actually subsidies means giving money to support private companies to manage their costs, because normally when big businesses or small and medium businesses are experiencing cost issues, they pass those costs to consumers. We are the consumers of modern society. Even on the matter of food, energy, hospital, we are customers now. And unless the government, even education, we are customers. Because unless the government intervene and actually support the industry to actually manage the cost artificially, we who are actually poor cannot survive. That's the argument. That's why I said in the beginning that it's the government behavior caused the cost of living. It wasn't the war in Ukraine at all. Because the government can still intervene in the economy if it wants, but it doesn't want to because of ideological, because of political reason. See, because it's on a political agenda. They do not want they don't want capitalism. No, they don't want socialism as part of socialism, because politicians compete, political parties compete. Some within the capitalistic economy, some political parties are socialist, others are actually capitalist. So for political reason, political party, which has a lot of power, want to be in government. So they want to take over by using the market. That's why they don't want market capitalism, because market capitalism support socialistic political party like the Labour Party in the UK. So the Conservative in the UK and the Republican in America, always, for political reason, and the rest around the world, in Europe especially, they want capitalism without socialism in it. Because if there is socialism in capitalism, then their political opponent will be in government. But in the nature of competitive politics, those in government want to remain in government. And when the Labour Party is in government, it start investing in social capitalism, state interventionist capitalism, so that it strengthened the Labour Party politically. And when the conservatives in the opposition will be opposing Labour policies, the reason when you turn on the television to look at debates in Parliament, you think the Labour Party, the UK Labour Party, come from another planet, and the Conservative Party also come from another planet. Because with the Conservative, they are one market capitalism. The Labour Party wants social capitalism in the UK, and also in the USA, also in Europe. There are conservative movements across the globe. There are socialist movements across the globe. The socialist movement, actually, in terms of political party, they are actually the Labour Party. The Labour movement, they call themselves. The capitalist movement are actually mostly wealthy. They have a lot more power. They care about the few. They are maybe few, but they control most of the wealth of the world. That's how they stay in power more than the Labour movement parties, like the Labour Party in the UK, the Socialist Party of the world, are actually less. They are less rich, but because of the culture of wealth, and also because of the behavior of modern politics, capitalism is winning because the richer you are, the more likely you are going to sympathize with conservative party policies. So most of the wealthy politicians now are beginning to favor capitalism, including the one in the Labour Party, the Liberal Democrats in the UK. The SNP is a class system now. So now, in terms of class economy, the gap between socialists and capitalists is dwindling because of wealth. People are so rich, they don't want to know this nonsense about socialism anymore. Even the Labour Party, there's something called New Labour. New Labour is anything but, they are still socialist, but they are almost the same with capitalists now. They now want more market. They are now sympathizing with class economy more, where they are now trying to look after the rich, the super rich, and strengthen their position in terms of power. So you're going to find a monopolistic political economy where there's a mixture of political beliefs, political leanings, and economic system, which is capitalism and conservatism. In other words, even the Labour Party, the Liberal Democrats, such as in the UK, the Green movement hide behind policies on environment. But if you look at the environmental politics, most people who are focused on environmental politics are actually rich. Most of them are actually super rich. They are no longer talking about environment alone. They are talking about capitalism. Because the thing about environmental debate and campaigning and policies is that it prevents investment in the economy. Now, investment in the economy is now targeted. They no longer want to invest in a blanket way. They only invest in niche economy. That's what capitalism means. They don't just invest. They invest in the things which interest super rich. Things which interest super poor, like food, energy, they no longer invest in it. They sell it off and close it down. They will only leave alone. It sounds like a conspiracy or a conspiracy theory. It is not. It is genuine. It is the way capitalism operates. It's brutal, it's ruthless, because their survival instinct is to maintain power. And they don't want the poor to be rich. So they have to really, even it means the poor must die for them to be in power, that will happen. And this may sound extreme, but yes, it is, because it is true. Not because somebody is trying to make things up. These people are actually about power. Power is not number one priority because that is their survival medicine. They cannot allow power to slip off their fingers. The ruling class, the political class, whether they are conservatives, whether they're labor, they are the same now. They are doing the same. There's something called consensus politics. Areas they agree on. The rest is soundbite and political theater. My opinion is clear, and my belief is sound that politicians are doing the same thing. They're promoting capitalism. Forget about socialism. It's dead. Whether you're in Russia, in Africa, socialism is dead. The government is no longer going to intervene because the ruling class are trying to form allegiance under globalization across the globe to focus on their survival. Because there's something called survival of the fittest. There is something in economics that resources are finite. The idea of infinity does not exist in economics. That's why we talk about capitalism. Capitalist thinkers and believers think resources is not enough. Resources are not enough for everybody. It's only enough for the few. And their reasoning is that if it means the rest of the world should die, that will be a good thing for humanity. Extinction means, extinction prevention means the fittest in society should survive. Those who are weak can die. You're doing humanity a favor to allow nature to take its own course. Nature taking its own course means the weak can actually be allowed to die peacefully because they are not fit. If you're fit, enter the market, get rich. That is an indication of fitness under capitalism. Capitalism, the market is a jungle. The law of the jungle operates in the marketplace. The fittest actually survive, literally. That's why now you're looking more and more, wealth is concentrating in the hands of the few because the system believes the system is like a human being. It has brains, it thinks, because people actually think for it. There are individuals who believe that the market should be, things should be left to the market. You see, it's like saying the market principle and its operation is something resembling to say, let nature take its own course. Don't really disturb nature. Do not intervene. Actually, to the capitalist, the market is actually there to support natural selection. Let nature do its own thing. Why do you interfere? If they want to kill people, we humans are not responsible. Nature is the master. It keeps others alive. It allows other people to die. It seems like a novel idea, and it is. So my message to you, be strong. Enter the market. Enter business if you can. If not, survive as long as you can. Otherwise, you're going to die. Because if there are a group of people who believe there is a national selection involving the market economy, we see it in the hospitals now. Doctors are being given power. Leave me a comment because I'm not sure about this information. Leave a comment below if I'm right because I can check it. The law now allows medical doctors to make decisions to stop feeding people who are terminally ill, to stop giving medicine to people who are. There is actually, I think that is omission leading to killing. Passive killing, I would say. Withholding food and medicine, and probably partially or withholding care also, to people who are terminally ill. They have the right to die. So the doctor also doctors and actually carers have the right to allow them to die. It's happening now. It used not to happen. It was not allowed. That was actually a murder. Now it's not even killing. Maybe it's mercy killing, but if mercy killing is illegal, then it is not mercy killing because this is not now lawful. It's now lawful killing by the doctors by omission. There are two types of activity, palpability or conduct, or omission, omitted conduct, and committed conduct. So this is actually killing by omission. What is now unlawful is killing by commission. Committing something means you give lethal injection to somebody who is terminally ill. That is still unlawful. Leave a comment below because this is a technical area of law, and it's worth my doing a study. I haven't done any study. I'm just relying on what I heard on the news. That's not good to make a comment on the law. Leave a comment below if you have information on mercy killing by the doctors. Doctors allow. I don't think it is called mercy killing really, but that is the media or the political language. Mercy killing. There is a debate going on all over section of the society. Some people think people should be allowed to die. Some people should be given the permission to die. In some instances, the government still prevent people from dying because there are actually families of people who are actually terminally ill requesting doctors to give lethal injection to actually kill their people, to kill the patient, because the patient want to die. Patient want to be assisted. It's called assisted suicide. That is unlawful. Assisted suicide is in actively causing the death of the patient. That's assisted suicide, which by commission. I use the word commission and omission to try and throw some light in what the doctors are now allowed to do to withdraw treatment and to withdraw feeding. That is actually causing the death, in my opinion, by omission other than by commission. In other words, if my interpretation is correct, government is now allowing doctors to kill patients by omission. If I am inaccurate, because I haven't done a study on this material, if I'm inaccurate, leave a comment below and let me know. And if I recall this point, I'll look at it. I will search on the internet and actually examine the information and determine if I'm right. But I have a feeling I'm actually correct in my analysis because I watch the news. This information based on my looking at the news wherever they are happening about the powers given to the doctor to allow patient to die by withdrawing feeding and treatment, including medication. I don't know the details, so that is to show that the idea that nature should take its own course. If people are sick, there should not be intervention. If people are sick, if they want to die, they should be allowed to die. And you should not intervene to prevent their death because we have to allow nature to take its own course. Like I said, nature taking its course in the marketplace, the poor should get rich. The government should not intervene to prevent, if necessary, death by hunger, by by homelessness, by failing to access energy. This philosophy, this belief is now very, very associated with capitalism. And if you're not careful, if you're weak, if you're poor, and weakness is always manifested by people being poor. That's why if you go anywhere now, the attitude is like to let you just, be there. You just exist. If you're going to die with poverty, I mean, if you want to work, work. If you can work, work. If you cannot work, The government is no longer giving help. The government is not even there for you because the market should really take its natural course. If the government is going to eliminate certain people because they are weak, they are poor, let them die. It's a good thing according to the way some people think in this country. Even poor people think, why should the government be intervening? If people are actually weak, if they cannot provide for themselves, they should die. Some people actually think it's good to leave people to die. You don't intervene to give them food, to give them money. You don't intervene to give them housing. It's a philosophy. And it's taking current, it's taking actually strength with the new type of capitalism. So it is not accidental that the government refused to intervene in the government because, you see, some people believe that resources are actually scarce. Energy is scarce. We are going to run out of things. If some people can actually die because they cannot access food or energy, they cannot access resources, that is going to be good for the few. It will actually help. I see some people actually think it is risky to allow so many people in. That's why you hear in the academic, the people are being taught, mothers are being taught now to do birth control. Abortion is being encouraged. Birth control is being encouraged in contraception in Africa. The Melinda Gates are now teaching Africans to have less children. China, one child policy. See, everywhere you go where there is poverty, the first thing mentioned is population. There are so many people in the world. There's a risk, security risk, safety risk, that many people are going to deplete world resources. That's why there is a lot of campaign about environment protection. Environment protection is part of the capitalistic agenda to preserve nature for the few and not for the many. So when the Extinction Rebellion prevent trains and transport, they are being capitalistic in the sense that they are preventing development from occurring. People should not go to work. If it means they lose their jobs, it doesn't matter. The number one priority is to protect natural environment because the rich people, the few, should be preserved. They are doing humanity a favor because many people are going to destroy the earth. I would rather if they were allowed to kill people actively, if they could persuade people to commit suicide, it would be nice. Poor people, if you're poor, you're useless because you're weak. You are actually a different breed of humanity. You're a different species. You are wasting space. Survival of the fittest. See, it's Darwin, the man called Darwin introduced that philosophy, and that philosophy is now feeding into capitalism. It's helping shape the behavior, the culture, the attitude, the mentality of capitalism. Capitalism is a jungle, and Darwin is the brain behind capitalism. If you are weak, you should be allowed to die. The market should not intervene in the economy. Survivors, the super rich, the few, the select few, who should represent humanity in the next decade, should be allowed to live. People who are now weak, who are poor, even if they are the majority, should allow to die naturally. Because they are not fit. And if they can die willingly by allowing themselves to starve to death, to not access energy, to not access food, if they are to volunteer to die, that's why there is a lot of mechanism now to control mind control systems is part of capitalism. Mind control, hypnotism, and many other things. A lot of music now are actually, if you turn on the television or you listen to any music being played, is actually is actually hypnotism. That music is designed to control your mind, to think the way the composer of that song wants you to think. That's what hypnotism does. It makes you think the way they want you to think. Some people talk of mental slavery, mind control. That is now the weapon, the new weapon being used, even to arrest criminals, to dissuade criminals from being criminals. It can also be used to persuade people to commit suicide willingly. Because if you do something willingly, is suicide is still a criminal offense, but that is in theory. In practice, it means nothing. If you commit suicide, that is nothing. People who love you will mourn. People who don't love you will just carry on with their life. So mind control, if you can be persuaded to allow yourself to live in poverty, to live in lack, or even to... People are now being encouraged not to be complaining. People are now being taught that complaining looks bad. They are being taught that to complain is you are being a problem. You should be nice. Stop being a problem to people. You just try to be accepted. Stop being nasty. You see, you go to the shop, you're treated badly because you're poor, maybe because if you're in a white country because you're black, if you're in a black country because you're white, or maybe because you are poor. Because poor people now are disrespected. Even poor people don't respect themselves. They don't respect each other. They respect the rich. That is the product of mind control, the product of capitalism. That's why if you go into a shop, you listen to some music and you don't want to get out, even if you're poor, even if you don't have money, even if you don't want to buy something, you will buy. That is hypnotism, mind control. It's part of capitalism. It's part of control. It's a part of promoting rule by the few, rule of the many. Ruling the few, ruling over, using wealth to rule over the few. The argument is that there is a species of human being who are actually superior, who are better than others. That's why they have power. That's why they're rich. They're few. They're the few chosen ones. They're the one to remain alive. The race can go in rest in peace. And that is according to people who believe this, who are actually trying to promote this ideology, this philosophy of survival of the fittest. These people believe they're doing humanity. They're being kind. They're being kind to people who are suffering. Don't intervene to prolong their suffering. Let them go. It's happening in the hospital. Is now there's something called social prescribing within the health service. I don't know what it is. Leave a comment below. There's something called resilience. That means if you're suffering, you can suffer with a smile on your face. Be resilient. Suffering is a necessity. You're actually, if you're poor, if you're sick, if you're ignorant, if you're diseased, if you die with a smile on your face. That is resilience. It's part of social prescribing. We used to do medical prescription in hospital. Social prescribing exists in the hospital today. It's part of resilience. You're being taught resilience. In schools, you're taught resilience. In hospital, at work, at home, on the TV, if you watching social media like I'm doing now. I'm actually trying to teach you how to be resilient, maybe for a different reason. Be resilient, survive the wrath of the market. If you're poor, so that you can survive. You never know what tomorrow may bring. Maybe the world is going to be enough if technology comes to deliver the poor from annihilation. Because if technology doesn't come quickly, people will start dying because of negligence. The market negligence. The market is not going to care for you. Because if you go to the market, if you go to the supermarket, you're not going to get free food from them. The government is gone. If you go to the hospital, private hospital, because the public hospitals are going to close down, public service is going to close down, public schools, anything supported by the government is going to close down because capitalism, as I've said, they have said, let the people go. Let them go. Wherever they go, it doesn't matter. Whether they are going to go, is it 6 feet? 6 feet under. I mean, if you are dead and buried, leave a comment below. How deep is your grave? We are not talking about how deep your love is. We are asking how deep is your grave. Is it 6 feet? So the reason I'm saying this, learn to survive, because I believe everybody has a chance. Everybody has a place. I mean, nobody deserves to die. Poor people are not superior to black to white people are not superior to black people. Poor people are not inferior to rich people. How about if I win a lottery tomorrow? I'm going to be rich. I am not a millionaire. And some people in our society now believe we are actually inferior. We are, I don't know how they understand Charles Darwin. They have taken that philosophy of survival of the fittest because they believe humans evolved from animals. If you're poor, you're more of an animal than human. That's why the dog of a rich person now is valued more than a poor human being. Because you are different. You are not really human, according to them. I don't know who they are. Some people keep asking me, who are they? I don't really know. You may not even know because they may be invisible. You might not see them. There are maybe some forces. May the force be with them. May the force be with these people. We don't know who they are. They are a force. They are themselves forces. And they are behind the system. Capitalism. The market system is a jungle. He's saying there are a group of people who are actually not fit enough to survive. They are supposed to die. And that's what they're saying here. The state should not intervene anymore. This is time to let them go, to let the people go. Wherever they want to go, let them go. Don't really prolong their suffering. They have been poor for so long. They have been slaves for so long. These people are poor. That's why they are slaves. They are weak. That's why they are poor. They are weak. That's why they don't deserve to live. If they're dying, let them die. If they're starving, let them starve. After all, they are inferior. They are the lower. They are the inferior species. See, they are the lower species of human being. And those who are rich, the chosen few, have earned the entitlement to remain alive. The praise, let them live. I mean, just don't prolong their suffering. Don't intervene in the economy anymore. Let the market determine the fate of everyone. Let us try to preserve humanity by allowing the weak, the poor, the many to die. Let we, who are the chosen few, remain and preserve the posterity of humanity. This is the thinking. It may not be as clear as this, but it originated from the philosophy of survival of the fittest, the idea that human beings evolved from animals. Leave a comment below if you think humans were once animals. and today they have become human, but the poor people are still animals. They're inferior. If they die, their value is less. If they're excluded from society, their value is less. The chosen few who are fully human, the super rich, the one in power are the human, the blue-eyed, the blonde hair, the sick food. We have had this before, and it is coming again now under capitalism. The chosen ones, the few, and not the many, the chosen one. See, the elite of the human species, of the human breed, they are doing humanity a favor. They are preserving posterity. Let the other people perish if necessary. If they don't deserve to live because they're weak, they cannot survive. Survival of the fittest. The fittest should survive to preserve humanity, to preserve the human species. I don't believe that is good. I believe it is wrong. It's false. Every human being, poor, rich or poor, is the same. We are all humans, black or white, rich or poor. We have the same human value. And my message to the poor is that if the rich are bought to the fallacy of the market forces to allow the poor to die of poverty, let us prove them wrong, because we too can be rich. If they think wealth determine human value, then let us, the poor people of the world, who are the many, let us prove that we can access wealth and change the story of humanity, change the estate of capitalism, and make sure and also prove to them that capitalism can produce wealth for everyone. Everyone has this equal value as humans. Survival of the fittest is a myth. It is not even science. It's a scientific theory. It's a myth. It is inconsistent with genetical science. Genetical science is proof that human being did not evolve. We were not animals. We are humans. See? Our DNA prove that we were never once. There is no evidence of evolution in the sense of the Darwinian proposition theory of natural selection. There is no fittest. Everybody is fit enough. All you have to is to believe in yourself. It doesn't matter how poor you are. You are fit. You are the best. In fact, so many poor people are actually fitter than rich people. Even in terms of survival, poor people will survive. And if we die, we are not going to die quietly. We are going to really speak the truth to power to say everybody has a place in the sun. I'm not saying this is what the government is knowing. The government probably is not aware because there is power behind government, which the government itself may not know. Believe on a certain principle. We see it in the debates. We see it in the idea of capitalism. The government is prevented from intervening by the market. The market is the beast. And it has to be corrected. It cannot go on like this. It's not allowed. The market must be corrected. It is actually the offense to say the market, the government cannot intervene. The government is running this country. The government is running every country for everyone. We all deserve a chance in life. But the market is saying the world is for the few selected and not for the many. The market is wrong. So government must intervene. If the government doesn't intervene, the people must intervene and start doing business. You will succeed. We will succeed if we unite to take over power and bring a just and fair society so that everybody has a chance. so that everybody can survive. Leave a comment below if you understood what I was talking about. Leave a comment below if you didn't. Because capitalism is here to stay. And the poor people, the many, are here to stay. The few, the rich, are here to stay. The rich and the poor are humans. They are the same. They are humans. And they are going to survive together. Capitalism or otherwise. They will not go away. The poor people are not going to go away. We are not going to die. We will live. Thank you for watching this video. Work hard. Learn hard for you, for the poor and for the rich. For our society, for our world, for the rich and for the poor. So that in the future, everybody will not actually live in segregation. To say this and that is rich and poor. Rich and poor will live together. We are supposed to live together, rich and poor. Everybody should have the same opportunity, the same access to the same wealth. There is no offense in everyone enjoying the world together. That is not an offense. So thank you for watching this video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Share with friends and family if you haven't. Leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you. Bye-bye.